Hey, what's going on everybody? Paul Tech here. Now before I jump into the full review, I do want to send a big shout out to the Z community for providing the Blade X for the channel. If you haven't been connected with them yet, definitely do so. There's all types of great stuff going on there, different forums, activities, discussions. So the link is in the description below of this video, and let's get straight into the full review. Let's kick this off with design and build. To the right hand side, volume rockers, texture power button. To the bottom there, you got your single down firing speaker, and I absolutely love the placement of it. Type-C charging on this, mic, and to the left-hand side, you do get a tray there that houses your SIM card. You can also input a micro SD card for expandable storage. And then up on top, you do got the headphone jack as well as a noise cancellation mic. Now to the back of the Blade X, you are getting a 13 megapixel camera, LED flash. I also like the fact that it is flush to the back there. You got your fingerprint sensor, Cricket branding, ZTE branding, and you got pretty much a nice material to the back there. It is an all plastic built device, but with the back having some grip on it. In the past week I haven't used a case on it, and the device has not slipped out of my hands whatsoever. As you can see from the frame there, it looks in really good condition. This is also housing a 3000 milliamp hour non-removable battery. Let's go ahead and talk about that fingerprint sensor in the past week of using it. So it is a very accurate fingerprint sensor. Every time I place my finger on the sensor, it unlocks the Blade X. It's not going to be super fast though, but it is a very accurate fingerprint sensor. Now let's go ahead and move on and talk about display here. So you are getting a 5.5 inch HD display. So that's going to be 720 by 1280. This also has Dragon Trail glass as well, about 268 pixels per inch. I mean, my experience of using the Blade X, I think any type of wallpaper you do throw on this 720p panel is actually going to look pretty nice. This also does have a notification light, which is the bottom center button there, which will pulsate when you do get a notification. So overall, I think it is a pretty good looking panel, even though it is 720p resolution. Now let's go ahead and talk about call quality. In the past week of using this, I didn't have any issues. Callers at the other end said I sounded perfectly fine. You even get a little one-handed operation option there as well. And when it comes to the messaging application, I mean, I probably used this more than I actually made phone calls. Sending text messages were actually pretty fine. Receiving text messages, I didn't have any type of issue there either. And the keyboard sensitivity is actually pretty decent on this device as well. You get all your basic standard emojis, emoji art, emoticon as well. And there's also ways that you can actually customize this keyboard, which is pretty cool. So if you want it kind of the way it looks on mine, you can just go into settings on the keyboard, and then you get all types of different options to choose from. I'll go ahead and show you some here. So this is actually the TouchPal application, and you can download whichever ones you want. Some are free, some you have to pay for. Now if you're coming from another type of ZTE device and you're upgrading maybe to the ZTE Blade X, I mean, you're going to feel very familiar here. As with most ZTE devices, you pretty much get that near stock Android experience, which is nice. And the display is very fluid, it's responsive, it didn't freeze up on me at any point in time. No type of boot loop issues whatsoever. And long pressing on the home screen there gets you into these different options. You also have these different transitions that you can choose when you scroll through your home screen as well. So what's powering this device? It is a quad-core processor, 1.4 gigahertz. You also got the Adreno 308 on this. Now when it comes to the sensors on the Blade X, it's actually packed pretty good with sensors. As you can see, all the different ones it has. Most importantly, this does have the gyroscope, the gyro sensor, so you're going to be able to watch 360 videos. Should be perfectly fine on the Blade X. So let's go ahead and move on. I want to share with you this other application that you do have on the Blade X. So this is pre-installed, and it's basically a way that you can keep track and monitor your health, which I really do like. So you can track like your heart rate, you can track daily steps, water intake, a lot of different things you can do with this application. So once you register and get it all set up, you also get some other options here, as you can see there. Now for me, this was actually pretty important because I do have a condition called tachycardia. If you're not familiar with that, it's basically you have increased heart rate, and for me, I try to monitor it as much as I can. And with the Blade X, the fact that you can actually use the back camera as a heart rate monitor, I'll go ahead and show you here in just a minute. So you use the just on the back there, just place your finger, I just placed on the flash, and it basically just monitors your heart rate. As you can see right right there, and it actually measures it pretty accurate. So I really do like that feature. I just kind of wanted to share that you do have that on the Blade X. Let me go ahead and pull down the status bar there, and you can take a look at all the different quick toggles you have there. All pretty standard stuff on the Blade X. Go ahead and jump into settings now and just kind of show you around a little bit here. So you do get mobile hotspot on this, which is nice. Enhanced LTE service is something else which is really good. No NFC on this, so no Android Pay or Android Beam. You won't be able to do that. Going into display here, you do got adaptive brightness. You can have the battery percentage shown. You got ambient display, which is really nice. Double press on the power button and that'll launch your camera. So that's actually a cool feature as well. Change the font size, display size, pulse notification light, navigation key light duration. I'm gonna just show you around here a little bit, and then let's jump into storage here. So this does have 16 gigabytes of internal storage, and I know most of you are gonna go through that pretty fast, but you do got the slot right there for expandable storage, which is great. And this also does offer adaptable storage, so that is a good feature you have there. All right, so I want to show you also Mi Pop or My Pop. I can never pronounce it correct, but you do have this option here, which is like this floating toolbar that you have, and it actually has different functions that you can choose. And some of the different functions you have here, so you can take a screenshot, pull down the status bar, restart the phone, shut down, go into your menu, go into your lock screen. You can use it as a back button as well. So I'll go ahead and enable it here, and I did use this quite a bit. I really do like this feature, and you can actually just move it around all around your display, and it works on wherever you are, whether it's in the app drawer, a certain application. You do have that there, and it does provide some good one-handed operation. So as you can see there, I do have it assigned for a screenshot, or you can have it assigned. This is another one I use where I just had it assigned for pulling down the status bar, but just a cool feature. I did want to share that I use quite a bit on the Blade X. So like I said, it doesn't matter where you're at, you can just assign your certain task for it, and it works perfect. All right, so let's go ahead and just show you real quick that you do have these other features here like smart lock. So you do have that if you're interested in using those. You also can change the navigation key. So I like that feature as well. I really do like that. And let me just scroll down and show you that this is running 7.1.1 Nougat, which is actually pretty cool. So you're going to get all those great features that come along with Nougat. So let's go ahead and move on. So I did run the Geekbench 4 test. So I'll go ahead and show you the scores here in just a moment. But we did get a single core score of 681, multi-core score of 1,829, and TuTu Benchmark did score this at 37,417. And those are pretty standard for a device in this price range. Now when it came to multitasking on the Blade X, it did a pretty good job. One thing I'm going to say is you don't want to have a whole lot of apps open in the background. I mean, just keep in mind this is a very affordable device. You don't want to push it too hard because you will notice some slowdown and some stutter. But using the multi-window here, the split screen, it actually works really well. So just try to keep the background apps down to a minimum. Now if you're interested in watching YouTube videos on your Blade X, you do get some pretty good viewing angles on this as well. The downfiring speaker is actually produces some pretty decent sound, and the highest quality you can watch videos on YouTube is going to be 720p at 60 frames per second. So like I said, the display does look good for a 720p panel. Now let's go ahead and move on and talk about some gameplay on the Blade X. Again, this does have 2 gigabytes of RAM. Now playing the casual games like Geometry Dash here, Subway Surfers, Temple Run, they all ran perfectly fine. No issues there whatsoever. Need for Speed, when I was playing this game, I was able to complete the races and everything, but I did notice, an occasional drop in frame here and there. I would say this is not going to be like the powerhouse device when it comes to high graphic intense games. You're going to be able to play them, but just keep in mind you might see some drops in frames, maybe a little bit of stutter, but for the most part, no overheating issues or anything like that. Let's go ahead and move on to the cameras now. So 13 megapixel rear facing camera with flash, and then you get the 5 megapixel front facing shooter. Shutter speed seemed to be about average. You also get some good features along with this camera. So you do get manual controls, which is actually pretty nice. I really enjoy using manual controls. You also get a panorama mode on this, multi-exposure, time-lapse as well. So you got some good features going on. You also got these different filters to choose from, so you can have a little bit more fun while taking photos and videos. I would say, you are going to be able to produce some nice photos and videos in good lighting situations. Outdoors, it's not going to be a problem. You also got an HDR option there. When you get into low light, you will see that your image does become kind of grainy. It does have some noise in the photos and videos in low light situations. Now to the front facing camera, as you can see, I got the No Shave November beard going on there, but I really do like the front facing camera. I also like the fact that you have these different filters to choose from as well with the front facing camera. And then you also have that little window to the corner there, which is actually pretty neat. So, you know, and you can also record in full HD with the rear facing camera and the front facing camera. So I did take some photos. I'll go ahead and show you the samples that I took on the Blade X. And let's go ahead and talk battery life. So again, 3000 milliamp hour non-removable battery. In my experience, the battery life is actually good on this device. I mean, I'm easily getting through an entire day, and screen on time at 5% battery left is 8 hours and 17 minutes. So I think you should be pretty good when it comes to the battery life on this device. Well, that's pretty much it, guys. That was the full review of the ZTE Blade X. I think it's a good option. It's affordable, off contract. You can pick it up at Cricket Wireless. So if you enjoyed this review, please hit that thumbs up button, and please subscribe to the channel for more future videos. This is Paul Tech, and I will talk to you on the next one. Bye.